Good afternoon. Happy New Year, and welcome to the City Council's 2026 Swearing In Ceremony and Organizational Meeting. We are streaming live on YouTube and City Channel 12. We will first begin with the swearing in of the Council's 5 at-large members, and we will begin with Councilmember Mitch Gruber. Please come forward to take the oath of office. Councilmember Gruber will be sworn in by Debbie Gruber.
And joined by my son, Levi. I, Mitchell David Gruber, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that I will faithfully discharge the office of the member of the Rochester, New York City Council according to the best of my abilities, so help me God. I prepared some remarks. There's been a national election study that's been polling Americans about trust in government. This poll's been going on for the last 7+ decades. And it will probably come as no surprise to any of you that we are at an all-time low for how people feel about having trust in their government. It's not a surprise. We see the recklessness in DC, in our federal administration. We see social media. We know what social media does for people's ability to trust information. Trust is at an all-time low. And it is our job, it is local elected officials' jobs to earn and keep the trust of our constituents. We're here. You all don't vote us in to go to Albany or go to DC to represent you. You vote us in to serve right here in your community. You see us all the time. Every council member, all 9 of us have our own version of office hours. We're found in the community in the same places at the same time, all over the place. I personally love holding what I like to call informal office hours, the public market, every Saturday morning. And there are times where people come there to yell at me. There are times where people come there to brainstorm with me. And there are times that people come there just to catch up. But that's how we build trust. You know where to find me. You're going to run into me in the store. You're going to run into me in restaurants and businesses in all 4 quadrants. That's how we build trust. We also build trust by actually running a good government. Local government provides some of the most essential services that any government provides. Access to clean and safe water, the sanitary removal of refuse, safe streets, libraries and recreation centers that provide opportunities for people, and of course, emergency services. When we provide good, consistent service, we earn trust. That's what we need at a moment where we have almost no trust in government, is for us to show up and do the job. And we have to follow in the footsteps of the council members that came before us. The Rochester City Council, the room you're all sitting in right now, has hosted a body that's been trusted and valued by this community for decades. I've spent tons of time learning from people like Wade Norwood and Carolee Conklin and Lois Geis and Elaine Spall and Brian Curran and Matt Haig and Adam McFadden and Jackie Ortiz, just to name a few. I've read about and absorbed stories about stalwarts like Midge Costanza and Tim Maines and Nancy Padilla and Ruth Scott. And there's no one that I've personally learned more from as a council member than, and I adore my president, President Melendez, but President Emeritus Loretta Scott. Loretta showed me what it means to show up every day, no matter how she was feeling, no matter what the circumstances. Loretta showed me how to govern with morality, with ethics, with the best possible intentions. And I will never forget the lessons that I learned from President Loretta Scott. She sends her regards and wishes she could be here today. These are people who didn't always get things right. They didn't always agree or get along with each other, but they earned trust and respect of the people in this community. And I'm really, really hopeful that our city council will be able to do the exact same thing. I'm looking forward to building off of what I've already started to build with my colleagues. I'm really, really looking forward to welcoming Councilmember Leslie Smith and Councilmember Smith to the dais up there. I believe we as a city council, as an entire body, have an opportunity to rebuild trust in this community. There are a number of projects I'll be working on in this term. I'm not going to go into detail about any of them because you all want to move on with the program, but advancing our Vision Zero initiative to eliminate traffic fatalities, strengthen the future of the Rochester public market, and finalizing the zoning alignment plan come to mind as critical priorities. But instead of going into depth about them, I'm going to close my remarks and then just do some thank yous with a quote from the late, great Senator Paul Wellstone. Politics is not about power, money, or winning for the sake of winning. Politics is about the improvement of people's lives. That's it. This quote should be in every politician's mind, but it's particularly true of a Rochester City Council member. This job is not about power, it's not about money, it's not about glamour, it's not about fame. If it is, I haven't found it yet, any of those things. It is about service. It's about making the community that we live in the best place it can possibly be, and giving you all an opportunity and a reason to engage with City Hall. Let me close with some thank yous. I want to start by thanking Beth Sieber, who's been an incredible legislative aide for me and has helped me run a campaign and reach people in ways that I'll never be able to fully appreciate and value, but Beth has been a partner and a confidant and has helped me be a good servant of this community. I want to thank people who helped me run my first ever campaign, Mike Reed, Meg Demmett, and Meredith Graham. Although they've all run less campaign with me over the years, that what they instilled in me at the beginning was paramount to me getting where I am today. I want to thank my family, my mother who swore me and helped shape my politics as a youth. And now she's my neighbor. We didn't really plan that, by the way. But I'm so grateful to have my mother. I'm so grateful to have my mother as a neighbor and as someone who joins me in fighting on behalf of this city where she spent the vast majority of her life. My Aunt Eve, who couldn't be here today, is the best campaign treasurer a candidate could ask for. And I'm not going to thank every other member of my family, but I do want to shout out the people who are here today. My Uncle Alan, Sarah, my cousin Amelia, Elaine, my two grandmothers, my two 94-year-old grandmothers who unfortunately couldn't be here today. But they keep me on the right track. They don't give me an option. That's their job. And I want to give a shout out to my mother-in-law, who's here from Florida, my father and sisters who left Rochester many years ago, but I know secretly want to move back one day. I want to thank my coworkers at FoodLink, the regional food bank. The last several years have been an incredibly difficult time for people working in emergency food services. And I no joke, I'm incredibly inspired every single day by the work we do at FoodLink and by the people who work there. I'm grateful today to be joined by my colleagues Julie Tedesco and Tara Keller, my partners in leadership there. And if not for their support and the support of the entire organization, I would not be able to be the city council member that I am. So I want to thank them. Second to last, I want to thank all the people that make up Rochester's city government. I appreciate the mayor being here, the deputy mayor, and all of the leadership staff, but every person who works in this building. City government, similarly, is not an easy place to work right now. Everyone is being asked to do more with less. That's constantly the reality of city government. And the people who work in this building, day in and day out, do so because they love this community and they're fighting for it every day, and they give me strength and inspiration as well. And finally, I want to thank my wife, Amy. We are opposites in probably every single way. She is graceful and patient and introspective, and I am none of those things. We're also opposites because running for office is probably her worst nightmare, but I would not be able to do it if it wasn't for her. She is an incredible partner. She is the backbone of our family. She's the backbone of my life. She keeps me grounded, and I'm so grateful to have her as a partner and to be able to raise a family with her. And to my sons who are 5 and 3 and may remember this, but maybe not, let me just say this. One of the reasons why I do this job is to make sure that you two have the best city to grow up in and that both of you learn how to be mensches. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, Councilmember Gruber. Please come up and take your seat on the dais. Next, we have Councilmember Miguel Melendez. Please come forward to take the oath of office. Councilmember Melendez will be sworn in by Julio Vasquez.
I had a chance to get away for a few weeks before taking this oath, and a lot of time to think about my community, my service to the community. I would like to begin by thanking God for giving me the opportunity to continue serving this community. I want to thank my wife, Ann Melendez, and my children, Aaliyah, Marisol, and Miguel III. They sacrificed so much so that I can be here. And I love you all deeply. I'm incredibly proud to be part of your tribe. I also want to acknowledge my family, especially my 3 sisters, who helped raise me and shape me in different ways over the years. Being the only brother, always surrounded by strong women, has helped raise me and helped raise my own daughters. I want to recognize my Tío Julio, who swore me in today, and Tia Teresa, who are also my godparents and who played a vital role in helping raise my children in their early years. I want to acknowledge my Ibero work family. I can't believe I've been there for 17 years. It's my only job outside of this. My mentor, Eugenio Marlin, and all of the Ibero executive leadership team, as well as all of my friends who are able to join us today or who are watching at home. Most importantly, I want to thank the greater Rochester community for your support and for the continued messages of hope and appreciation for the work I'm doing here on City Council. I would also like to thank every city employee who is out there doing the work. As council members, we get to approve projects and positions, staff positions, but it is the people working on the ground, our union members and our frontline workers, who make this all possible. You make our city a better place to live, work, and play. It is my privilege to work alongside you and for you, and I will continue to advocate for the betterment of our community while I serve in this role. Today, just as I've taken this oath twice before, I recommit myself to the greater good. For my neighbors and yours, I look forward to finding common ground where it exists, agreeing to disagree when it does not, always striving to do so with respect, because the world is wide enough. Thank you, Rochester, for believing in me and in my leadership. I look forward to continue my effort and to continue my service to the citizens of Rochester. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Melendez. Please come up and take your seat on the dais. Next, we have Councilmember Stanley Martin. Please come forward to take the oath of office. Councilmember Martin will be sworn in by the councilmember's mother, as well as Ashley Gant and Shay Herbert.
Nervous. One thing many people don't know about me is I still get stage fright, and this is probably one of the most important positions I've ever held in my life. Everything worth doing is done with others. In times like this, periods of great suffering and uncertainty, I hold Miriam Kaba's words close and remember that the only way we get through this is hand in hand with each other, with community. I'd like to acknowledge my community and thank every single person who made it possible for me to be here today. My neighbors, my friends, my family. Thank you to my mother and the long line of women in my family who planted the seeds of courage, resistance, and determination within me. Thank you to my father who taught me how to be kind, principled, and quite audacious. I stand here today overflowing with love and deeply, deeply guided by hope. There are so many glimmers of hope through our city. All you have to do is go outside and you'll see it happen. A mother on her way home from dialysis, still showing up to defend her neighbors against ICE. Mutual aid organizations and food pantries mobilizing rapidly to make sure our families' needs are met. Young people painting beautiful murals across the city and building community gardens. Immigrants, queer folks, civil rights organizations getting together on Saturdays to draft and pass a sanctuary city ordinance. The list go on, and all these changes happen because we came together, we cared for each other, we moved with love, and we fought to make our city better. Over the next 4 years, our movement is going to deliver more changes. And when I say change, I mean material, measurable, tangible shifts in the lives of our neighbors. We're going to focus on fighting for a living wage to ensure that every working family can afford to put food on the table, afford housing needs, and make sure their kids have access to health care. We're going to fight to stabilize the rent and ensure that people can stay in their homes. We know here in Rochester we're in the midst of a housing crisis, and I think one beautiful thing we're all aligned in is that we need to house our neighbors and by any means necessary figure out how to get people off the streets. And finally, we're going to make greater investments in life-affirming services like peer-led mental health and recovery support services, care for our LGBTQ+ community, and invest in jobs and resources for our young people so they can not only survive, but thrive. And finally, I want to end by sending my deepest love and support to everyone who's lost someone this year. Right now, I'm thinking of Danny Siplin, a queer member of our community whose life was gone too soon. In memory of each and every one we've lost, we have to imagine, struggle, organize, love each other, and fight for a better Rochester. Let's do it.
Thank you, Councilmember Martin. Please come up and take your seat on the dais. Next, we have Councilmember-elect LaShonda Leslie Smith. Please come forward to take the oath of office. Councilmember-elect Leslie Smith will be sworn in by Pastor Melvin Cross, Jr.
I, LaShonda Leslie Smith, do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the office
and I will faithfully discharge the office
of member of the Rochester, New York City Council
member of Rochester City Council
according to my ability,
according to my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God. Can you all hear me okay? Great. So today is not just a celebration, it is a commitment. I step into this role leading first with a lens of faith, justice, and equity. Those are not abstract ideas for me. They are lived values shaped by experience, redefined by struggle, and anchored in service. I was born and raised in this city. I have lived on the east side, on the west side, and on the north side. Little did I know that my journey through different neighborhoods would one day reflect my life now. Living on the west side, working on the east side, and worshiping in the heart of downtown. That lived experience has given me the lens needed to serve as an at-large member of City Council, and it's given me a deep love for Rochester. My background has taught me to lead with curiosity instead of assumptions, with understanding instead of judgment, and with a commitment to finding common ground. Because even when our values, our motivations, or our interests do not align, our shared humanity always gives us a place to start. Humanity is how we build bridges, and bridge building is both my goal and my hope. For the past decade, I have worked deeply in two neighborhoods, and God knows that has taught me a lot. The folks from Connected Communities are here and can testify. We don't all want the same things. We don't all agree on the same policies, but we do want some of the same outcomes. We want safe and affordable housing. We want access to food that doesn't just help us to survive, but it helps us to thrive and live a long, healthy life. We want our children to be able to walk to school on safe streets. And we want the freedom and dignity to pursue the so-called American dream, however each of us define it for ourselves. That shared desire for dignity is where real progress begins. I also want to acknowledge a very personal moment today. I had hoped that my 32-year-old son, Brandon, could be here to swear me in as a symbol of where my journey began. He lives in Brooklyn and couldn't be here, but my pastor, Melvin Cross Jr., graciously stepped in, representing the faith that has carried me to this very moment. He stands as a physical reminder of the one who will carry me through this 4-year commitment. My husband and my daughter represents the vast community that serves as my foundation. My husband is my rock, my anchor, my friend, my very best friend. I truly cannot imagine doing this without his support. Those of you who rode this journey with us, you knew that there were not many campaign meetings, activities, or the like where you did not see him. He stood proudly by my side, served as my advisor, told me when I should shut up, He served as my confidant, my safe place, and yes, as my bodyguard. Thank you, Moses. And it is after acknowledging that foundation that I want to say thank you to so many others. To my team at Connected Communities, to my board of directors, thank you for supporting me through this. To my mama, thank you for your prayers, your sacrifice, and the value you instilled in me long before this moment ever happened. You are the hardest working person I know. To my daddy, who loves me from afar all the way in California, couldn't be here, but his prayers have sustained me. To my church family and my pastors, thank you for covering me and keeping me grounded in faith and obedience to this call. To my many, many, many friends, thank you for loving me honestly, for holding space for me and walking with me through every single season. And to my campaign team, the volunteers and supporters, thank you for believing not just in a candidate, but in a vision for what our city will be. And to the residents of Rochester, thank you for trusting me with this responsibility. I do not take it lightly. I truly believe that God makes no mistakes, and I am a witness that no season is ever wasted. Every single step, every delay, every detour has prepared me for this very moment. I am honored to join 8 colleagues, our mayor, his staff, and the city council staff. I am genuinely hopeful and confident that the years ahead will be productive, as we work in partnership to ensure that our city and our residents have access to every resource they deserve. Today I step forward with humility, with hope, and with resolve, ready to serve, ready to listen, and ready to do hard things. The hard work of building a stronger, more just, and more united Rochester. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Leslie Smith. Please come up and take your seat on the dais. Finally, we have Councilmember-elect Kiara Smith. Please come forward to take the oath of office. Councilmember-elect Smith will be sworn in by Lydia Henry and Gloria Long.
Faithfully discharge the office Rochester City Council, member of the New York City. New York, say it again. Member of the Rochester, New York City Council, according to my ability. So I had to write this down because I'm trying not to be emotional today. I've been a crybaby all day today. I've been crying. But when I was a young girl and I would go to church, my Deacon Johnson at the time from Bible Way told us that we needed to find a scripture that we could hold on to when life got hard. And so 20 some odd years ago, I chose in Bible study, Psalms 1 and 3. And I shall be like a tree planted by rivers of water that bring forth fruit in my season. My leaves shall not wither, and whatsoever I do, it shall prosper.
I stand before you today not just as your city councilwoman, but as Kiki, the little black girl from 14621, shaped by legacy, community, and a commitment to serve. This moment doesn't belong to me alone. It belongs to every resident who opened their door, asked hard questions, and believed that leadership could look like us and sound like us. I carry the legacy of my great-great-uncle, Rocky Simmons, my great-aunt, Audrey Smith, Maudine Brown Long, and my aunt, Nina B. Coates Gaines. People who served when it wasn't easy and loved this city fiercely. To my grandmother, Gloria Long, thank you for molding and shaping my heart and for showing me what community looks like and what commitment looks like. To my mom and dad, Lydia and Brian Henry, thank you for grounding me, loving me, and giving me stability that made this moment possible. To my grandparents who are in Atlanta, Georgia, Hattie Mae and Grandpa Joe, thank you for your quiet strength. And to my godparents, the Nesmiths, thank you for covering me in prayer during one of the hardest seasons of my life. My mom was like, don't get up there crying, and people gonna think you crazy. I've been crying in Miss Washington's office, I've been crying everywhere. After my cousin was murdered on August 7, 2004, I used to sit by the tree where his life was taken. I felt lost, powerless, and full of grief. To the community that loved me and protected me in that pain, thank you. I gotta say real quick, to the mayor of Remington, who's no longer here, I love and I miss you so much. He was a part of that community that loved and protected me when I was so vulnerable. And to those of you in neighborhoods I hadn't yet walked, thank you for answering every door, every call, and every request. It mattered to me to run as Kiki, the name that my family gave me as a child, because I wanted little black girls with braided hair and names like mine, growing up in communities and neighborhoods like mine, to see someone who looked like them, someone who reflected them in leadership. I wanted them to know you are not too loud, you are not too poor, you are not too black, you are not too anything to lead. To the people slate in DSA, thank you for your strategy and belief in collective power. I am, because of all of you, grateful for your belief and, most importantly, your strategy and support. Now the real work begins. I'm committed to working every day for everyday people, to preventing violence before it starts, to expanding access to real mental health care, to tackling housing with urgency, and to governing with transparency and accountability. I promise to serve with excellence. I promise to stay rooted in community. And I promise never to forget who sent me here. Thank you for believing in me.
Thank you, Councilmember Smith. Please come up and take your seat on the dais. Now I will call the organizational meeting of the City Council to order, and I will call the roll. Councilmember Gruber.
Here.
Councilmember Harris.
Here.
Councilmember Leslie Smith.
Here.
Councilmember Lupian.
Here.
Councilmember Martin.
Here.
Councilmember Melendez. Councilmember Monroe.
Here.
Councilmember Patterson.
Here.
And Councilmember Smith. And now I would ask everyone to please join me in a moment of silence as we begin this new year. Councilmember Patterson, would you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We will now open the floor for motions for the selection of the President of City Council.
At this time, I nominate Miguel Melendez Jr. to be President of the Rochester City Council.
Second.
Are there any other nominees? Okay, so I will call the roll, and when I call your name, please state your vote in the affirmative or negative. Councilmember Gruber,
Yes, thank you for your service.
Councilmember Harris,
Yes.
Councilmember Leslie Smith,
Yes.
Councilmember Lupien,
Yes.
Councilmember Martin,
I cannot in good faith vote yes, so it's a no for me.
Councilmember Melendez, Councilmember Monroe,
Yes.
Councilmember Patterson,
Yes.
and Councilmember Smith. Yes. Congratulations, Councilmember Melendez. Please go to the floor to be sworn in as president. President Melendez will be sworn in by Aaliyah Melendez.
I'm actually going to ask my family to join me. Everyone. The Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York.
and the Constitution of the State of New York.
That I will faithfully discharge the office of President of the Rochester, New York City Council
And I will faithfully discharge the office of the President of the Rochester City Council
according to my ability. So help me God.
according to my ability, so help me God. Stay up here. My son has been very patient. He's been talking about leaving from the moment he walked in the doors. Very patient. So when I was 9 years old, I lost my mother. When I was 15, I lost my father. My oldest sister, Melissa, took Jennifer and I in. The journey was never easy. There was no silver spoon. Everything we had, we earned. And we learned to lead through the spirit and foundation of our parents and what they left us. I started dating my wife when I was 15, just a few months after my father passed. She has been with me through it all. I was forced into leadership at a young age, and since high school, I've found myself leading something somewhere ever since. Just like me, my son is surrounded by strong, beautiful older sisters. And while I do this work for all of Rochester, I really do it for these young ladies and my son. The sleepless nights, the long nights away from them are hard, but I know it is necessary. And as they grow older, I believe they understand that too. When I first started on this trajectory of becoming a city council member and later president, I knew what I wanted to impact, but I didn't know how to maneuver government. Former council president Loretta Scott used to say, "Heavy is the head that wears the crown." And I didn't fully understand the gravity of that statement until I sat in this chair myself. This term, I return as a seasoned veteran, battle-tested and ready to lead the charge. Moving forward, there will be disagreement and discourse in these chambers, as there always has been. But my message today is also about the bigger picture. We face common challenges and common causes. This council will make tough budget decisions as we confront lower projected tax revenue and rising healthcare costs. We will review a new proposed zoning code and decide what the future of Rochester looks like. We will lead in unprecedented times under a federal administration that has its sights set on our city. And we will wrestle with housing affordability and availability as we determine how to move Rochester forward from a housing perspective. While there are 9 individuals before you today with differing opinions and ideologies, and while we may not always see eye to eye, I truly believe that all 9 of us care deeply about the people of Rochester. Herding 9 cats has been the privilege of my life so far. And I say 9 because sometimes I have to herd myself too. It is our duty and responsibility as a body to protect the residents of Rochester through sound policy and responsible budgets, and to uphold the values of Frederick Douglass and Susan B. Anthony. The 9 of us were placed in this room for the next 24 monthly cycles of legislation and decision making by the people of Rochester to make this city better. We don't have to love each other. We don't have to even like each other. But at a minimum, we must respect each other. So if people want to make personal attacks from the outside, let them. My family knows who I am. My community knows who I am. As the young people say, I'm outside. I can shoulder the hate. I can shoulder the burdens. I'm here to do the very best I can and to make the best decisions possible on my terms and in my way. I am here to represent the barrio and the neighborhoods across Rochester that are too often forgotten. As only the second Latino leader elected council president and the first Latino man, I'm here to set an example for future generations, for my own children, so that someone else can one day take this seat and follow in my footsteps, or better yet, do an even better job than I hope to do. To my colleagues who voted for me to lead this body, thank you. The honor is mine, and I deeply appreciate your support. Now let's get back to work. We will now open the floor for the motions for the selection of the Vice President of City Council.
At this time, I'd like to offer Lachey Harris to be the Vice President of the Rochester City Council.
Is there a second?
Second.
Are there any other nominees? Seeing none, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll.
Councilmember Gruber,
Absolutely.
Councilmember Harris,
Yes.
Councilmember Leslie Smith,
Yes.
Councilmember Lupian,
Yes.
Councilmember Martin,
Yes.
Councilmember Monroe,
Yes.
Councilmember Patterson,
Yes.
Councilmember Smith, and President Melendez.
Yes. Congratulations, Vice President Harris. Please go to the floor to be sworn in as Vice President.
I'm deeply honored and grateful for the trust that my colleagues have given me today in serving a second time as Vice President of City Council. This role is not about a title, it is about responsibility, partnership, and service to our people in the city. Rochester is a city of strong neighborhoods, resilient families, and a long tradition of advocacy and progress dating all the way back to Frederick Douglass and Susan B. Anthony. As Vice President, I am committed to working collaboratively with the Council President and my fellow council members, the administration, the mayor, and most importantly, representing our residents and making sure that we have a transparent government who is accountable and have equity for our residents as we guide our work. I believe in listening first, leading with integrity, and staying grounded in the needs of our community. Together, we will continue to push for policies that strengthen public safety, expand opportunities, and improve the quality of life across all neighborhoods. And thank you again. I would like to say thank you to my family who is not here today because we had a couple of deaths in the family, but they're here. They're traveling, and I want to say thank you to them for supporting me. I want to say thank you to my husband who supported me, and my mother and my sister and my brothers. For without them and their grounded support, I will not be able to continue on in this role. Thank you for the residents of this community who have entrusted me with being the council and who've been there for me from the beginning till now. Rochester deserves leadership who's dedicated and who has a purpose of making sure the city is great. I will continue on that path to working with our colleagues to make our city better and also doing what we can to have a great Rochester. Thank you.
At this time, we'll now move on to the selection of the city clerk. Councilmember Patterson, you're recognized to make a motion for the selection of the city clerk.
At this time, I would like to nominate Hazel Washington to be the Rochester City Council clerk.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Councilmember Gruber,
Yes.
Councilmember Leslie Smith,
Yes.
Councilmember Lupian,
Yes.
Councilmember Martin,
Yes.
Councilmember Monroe,
Yes.
Councilmember Patterson,
Yes.
Councilmember Smith, Vice President Harris,
Yes.
President Melendez.
Yes. Motion carries. Congratulations, Clerk Washington. please come to the front to be sworn in as city clerk.
Good afternoon. First of all, I'd like to thank God who makes all things possible. And thank you to City Council for another opportunity to serve as City Clerk. Also, thank you to the Dream Team, also known as the City Clerk staff. And they're wearing my favorite color today to support me. I appreciate that. I could not do this job without them. They keep things in the office and the licensing unit flowing smoothly each and every day. I am very grateful and appreciative to each and every one of them. A special thank you to my village, my mom, my rock, family and close friends for your continued prayers, love, and support. Thank you to two very special people that swore me in, my mom, Sandra, and my best friend, Shirley. Shirley flew all the way from Atlanta just for this occasion. Now that's love, especially in this type of weather. Yeah. And thank you to my brothers that are in the back, all three of them, my cousin and my granddaughter. To the clerk's team, even though we will undoubtedly face challenges, we have to keep the assignment in perspective. And remember, it's not about us. It's about providing quality customer service to the community, our colleagues, and last but not least, the members of City Council. We look forward to continuing to serve the council, the administration, and the citizens of Rochester with the utmost respect. Thank you again to City Council for entrusting me to serve as City Clerk for another term. It's time to get to work. Thank you.
I'm going to interrupt and just say congratulations to all of my colleagues. Welcome to my new colleagues, Councilmember Leslie Smith and Smith. And welcome back to Councilmembers Gruber, Melendez, and Martin. And congratulations to Councilmember Melendez and Harris for, Council President Melendez and Vice President Harris for your reelection, and to our wonderful clerk. Now that, I've been inspired by the words and the promises made to our community, and just as Clerk Washington said, now it's time to get to work. And it's my hope that that work is focused on improving the lives of the residents, the people that currently live in our city. And we may not see eye to eye, but I know that we all agree that we want to see our people housed and safe and financially secure. And I would invite us to reflect on what we're willing to risk to make that happen. Because make no mistake, you cannot oppose systems of oppression and white supremacy and colonialism without taking a risk and giving things up. And whether that be your job, your sights at a higher office, your social circle, or simply the discomfort of being politically and socially isolated. Those are the stakes. And it is a time right now where this moment calls us to be brave. As Frederick Douglass says, you cannot get anything without a demand, and you cannot have progress without struggle. And we may not be rewarded by the political elites, but we will be rewarded by the people that we were all elected to serve. So I'm excited to get started on this new term of council. Congratulations again.
So I'll now entertain a motion regarding the rules of council.
Move it.
So we have one motion to adopt the rules of council. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been seconded. Any discussion? Okay, roll call.
Appreciate it. Councilmember Gruber,
Yes.
Councilmember Leslie Smith,
Yes.
Councilmember Lupien,
Yes.
Councilmember Martin, Councilmember Monroe,
Yes.
Councilmember Patterson,
Yes.
Councilmember Smith,
Yes.
Vice President Harris,
Yes.
President Melendez.
Yes.
Thank you.
The motion carries. Now I'll entertain a motion regarding the official newspapers.
Move it.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Councilmember Gruber,
Yes.
Councilmember Leslie Smith,
Yes.
Councilmember Lupien,
Yes.
Councilmember Martin,
Yes.
Councilmember Monroe,
Yes.
Councilmember Patterson,
Yes.
Councilmember Smith,
Yes.
Vice President Harris,
Yes.
President Melendez.
Yes.
Thank you.
Mr. President,
Yes. Vice President Harris.
I'd like to address, at the last city council member meeting, I voted on the prevailing side of the introductory number 460, a local law amending the city charter with respect to the salary of members of the city council as amended. At this time, I would like to make a motion to reconsider introductory number 460.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. So now discussion.
Yes, if I could start. Okay. So I brought this motion because I do not believe that passing this legislation right now is the right thing to do. And I did that, I think about that very deeply because it was one of the things that was carefully considered before I made the motion. Dr. Martin Luther King once said, the time is always right to do what is right. To my constituents, I understand there are affordability challenges, and there are things that affect the daily budgets. We are under Trump economy. I've rethought this measure, a measure for city council. However, I will say that I've heard from the constituents. I've saw the posts, Facebook posts. We've gotten phone calls, and there was pushback on our raise. I think that there could be a better time to do this, and right now, the right thing to do is to rescind it to allow council to take a collective approach and look at the wages for city council. So I have heard our residents and our constituents. My background is grounded in union work, fighting for wages and compensation. I've done that for many years. So I've done that as a past union representative, a past divisional president of a union, and today I also serve as a union member. I do believe and I will fight for equal pay for wages and fair wages. So I do submit rescinding this vote. I do commit myself to continue to fight for fair wages for all, including council. And thank you.
Any further Councilmember Patterson?
As the person who offered the amendment, amending and increasing council members' wages, I stand in support of Council Vice President's decision and desire to rescind this item. I do that for a very simple reason. I believe that we should definitely look at the wages of city council members. I offered the amendment at that time because by practice, council routinely set its wages at that time. The argument and the pushback that we heard consistently and regularly was, well, there needs to be a compensation study and you guys should hold this off and we can get the compensation study. And we're not saying that the number's wrong, we're saying that we don't like the process. Okay, we'll concede your point. But it is my hope that to the 3 council members who voted against the item when it passed last month, it is my hope that you will lead the charge in forming the compensation committee and that you will have that compensation committee report back not only on the wages of council, but on the wages of all of our executive staff. And I offer this to the community for consideration. There is an item out there whereby there's a website whereby you can go out and you can look at the wages of anyone and everyone who works in New York State government, not just the city of Rochester, but anywhere and everywhere. And what's interesting about that website is that when you look at the wages of council members and you compare their wages to the people that we most closely interact with, which are the mayor and his direct reports, they are in many instances a third to maybe 40% of that paid, which isn't an issue. It's not a full-time position. Those are full-time positions, but those are the people that we interact with in order to do the work of the people that we represent. If you're trying to better understand where our wages fall in, our wages are roughly comparable to the recreation worker staff, full-time recreation worker staff, in many instances lower than the full-time recreation worker staff. Our wages in many instances are lower than the folks who provide security for our buildings and many of the non-supervisory staff that work in city government. Keep in mind, we interact with the City of Rochester senior management team. The request was not that we make a wage equal to theirs or proportional to theirs, but the argument was that the wage as presented was too low. Now, what's interesting is that the feedback that I got from the community was, oh my God, that's all they pay y'all? I thought they paid y'all a whole lot more for all the stuff that you do. The other reason why I proposed that change and that increase in wage was because 4 years ago, as a council, we decided that we were going to step up. And part of stepping up was that we were going to staff up, we were going to do more, and we did more, and I think the work has shown itself, not just across the board. Keep in mind, we fuss and fight up here. We don't always get along. But I can honestly say that everybody up here works, okay? Last council, I know that was sure. I had no doubt about that, and I don't doubt that the new 2 members will work hard too. And so the question and the challenge going forward is the wage fair? I'm confident that our colleagues who opposed the item originally will take the charge to pull that compensation committee together and get us a report back in time for budget season. And so for that reason, because the item has served its purpose, it has raised the issue, it has sparked the debate, it has challenged the community to consider the point, I support the Vice President's recommendation to rescind the item.
Further discussion? Councilmember Lupien, followed by Councilmember Martin.
Yes, I enjoy just like a clock. It's right twice a year, and probably twice a year. Councilmember Patterson and I agree. You get what you pay for. and this community is paying for part-time city council members. But I know that my constituents who text me at 10 o'clock at night on New Year's Eve expect me to be available. And we need to compensate proportionately. You should not have to have a full-time job as a CEO of a nonprofit to be able to afford to do council. I want to see members of council that are single mothers, that are teachers, that are EMS workers, be able to afford to do this job and do it in the right way. And I don't support the political theater and the distraction around this item. For $90,000, the study would be more than the pay raise for every member of council. So I support rescinding the item and taking it up. I also agree, I hope that we have the participation from all members of council in that wage committee, and that we take a real look at what we value in the city council.
Councilmember Martin.
Yeah, I'd like to thank Councilmember Patterson for bringing the item forward. And I'd also like to thank everyone who gave feedback around the process. For many of our constituents, they are also concerned about a living wage. And in addition to reconsidering our wage, I hope that our colleagues, all of us, will also consider what it means for the rest of our community to also have access to a living wage. While we'll go through a process for figuring that out, I think it also makes sense that we engage in a longer process to determine what the wage for council is. Being in this position, one of the biggest things I've learned is to be humble and to listen to feedback. I'm not always right, and I appreciate the care and love that it takes to say, hey, maybe do things differently, maybe go another route, and I'm going to be doing exactly that by supporting the Vice President's motion to rescind or to reconsider. Finally, the amount we put forth is the exact same amount allocated for the president. It's important to note that even though with this motion to reconsider, council members will go back to making around $40,000, the council president will remain making $50,000. So the amount put forth was in an effort to increase pay equity on the body and also pay council members a living wage. But I think it's important the community knows how we measure that amount. It's not a number out of thin air. It would have just created space for everyone to make the same amount. But we'll do the study, and we will come back and discuss this again with community. So again, thank you to everyone for the feedback. I also heard similarly, it's not about the amount, it's about just figuring out the process, more transparency, and yeah, so we'll be supporting your motion. Thank you for your leadership, Vice President.
Any further discussion? All right, so the motion on the floor is to reconsider. We'll do a roll call vote on reconsidering.
Councilmember Gruber.
Yes.
Councilmember Leslie Smith.
Yes.
Councilmember Lupien.
Yes.
Councilmember Martin.
Yes.
Councilmember Monroe.
Yes.
Councilmember Patterson.
Yes.
Councilmember Smith.
Yes.
Vice President Harris.
Yes.
President Melendez.
Yes.
Thank you.
So now we are reconsidering introductory number 460. As a reminder, that is as amended. A no vote would be that you do not support the as amended legislation, and a yes would be that you would want to continue supporting the proposed raise. So we will do a roll call.
President Melendez,
Yes.
just clarify.
Councilmember Gruber, sorry.
Just clarify that one more time. So a no vote is a yes vote is. Why don't you tell me what a no vote and a yes vote do?
Sure.
Could we get Corporation Counsel to tell us?
Let's make sure we get this right. So yes vote would be that you're supporting the legislation again. Correct. And a no vote would be that you're turning down that legislation.
That's right. It's as if the legislation were in front of you the same way it was the first time, and so
The legislation with the amendment to 50,000?
Correct.
Yes.
So we're voting on the legislation amended to 50,000.
As amended. That's
Okay.
right.
That's right. Thank you.
Roll call.
Councilmember Gruber.
No.
Councilmember Leslie Smith.
No.
Councilmember Lupien.
No.
Councilmember Martin.
No.
Councilmember Monroe.
No.
Councilmember Patterson.
No.
Councilmember Smith.
No.
Vice President Harris.
No.
President Melendez.
No.
Thank you.
Motion fails, and I will personally commit to the compensation committee and work on the logistics of getting that up and running as soon as possible.
Real quick, can you please make sure to include other council members in that process, as it's something
Sure,
that
certainly.
I think that was my biggest critique initially with Councilmember Gruber, bringing it forth, not having discussion. So I think we now have an opportunity to involve anyone who wants to be involved in the process.
Certainly. All right, well, that concludes our business. Thank you all for coming. You are invited to join us in the atrium for some refreshments. The meeting is now adjourned.